All right, we are good to go. I'm going to hand it back over to you, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
There you go.
All right, everyone. I'm going to talk about housing searches. If you attended the one I just did, you're really about to get to know me because have the same information here. So I am Jenny Andrews, and I started as a housing navigator at HHCK in February. Before that, I served as an AmeriCorps member for 2 years, which was in 2017 to 2019. I served at Gateway House in Moorhead, which is a shelter. I was born in Moorhead, and I recently moved to Versailles with my husband, our 2 dogs, Maya and Juno, his best friend, his dog, and cat. So there's a lot of us in the family. I graduated Moorhead State with a double majors in psychology and philosophy. My birthday is on Thursday of next week, and I'll be 26 years old. I like to spend time with my family, my pepperonis, play video games, decorate, and watch reality TV, and travel. So here's some photos. Okay, so when you are ready to do a housing search with your client, you'll want to sit down with them and understand their needs, preferences, their wants, and barriers. So some of the things that I like to look at with individuals is if they need a downstairs unit. So for instance, if they are in a wheelchair, or if they have children and it's very difficult to go up the stairs a lot. If they need a dishwasher, the reason I put this on here with hands is if somebody has carpal tunnel, if there's any issues with that. Thinking outside and looking at the client on what they need. What is their bedroom size? How many people are in the household? So if it's a household size of a husband and wife, they probably only need a 1 bedroom. If there's children, of course, up that, and that is relevant because you wouldn't want them paying for more than they can afford, or having too many people in a small unit. So if they need a washer and dryer versus if they're close to a laundromat. Maybe they have anxiety and they're absolutely never going to go to a laundromat. So it would be really beneficial to find a place that has a washer and dryer hookup, or if a washer and dryer is already included. Those are the type of things that you need to ask and understand. Public transportation versus a vehicle. Employment, where they work, if they're able to get there based off of the housing. If they're close to their children's school, or if they have a way to get their children to school. If the place allows pets. Landlord blacklist. So what that means is if there's a landlord that won't work with the client, or if there's a client that won't work with the landlord, if there's been any past issues between them and it's just not going to work out, because the goal is to be able to have them housed longer. So you wouldn't want to place them in a situation that would increase eviction. If they need utilities included, for instance, if they have past utility arrearages, if they owe any utility companies, that's really good information to understand. How much they owe, are they able to pay that off? If there's any past evictions, especially with apartment complexes, they'll look at those things in their background checks. So this is very important that like I was saying, that it's very specific to each client. It will not be same across the board. This is very client-centered. You want to understand the client's needs and be able to help that with their housing. Okay, so something else that you'll want to be looking at is fair market rent. This is really important because of maybe some programs that they're in. So let me explain what fair market rent is. So fair market rent is the price of a unit that is fair for price with all utilities included. So for instance, in Franklin County here in Frankfurt, for a 1-bedroom, I believe it's $630. For a 2-bedroom, it's $749 with all utilities included. So it's really important to understand that when you're looking for a place to make sure that it's under that, especially with programs that would require that. But most importantly, you want the client to be able to sustain it, be able to stay in the house and be able to afford it long term. So you'll definitely want to look at their budget and make sure that it's a realistic understanding of the client's ability to afford the unit without assistance, that it would be realistic for them to be able to do. So I put a link on here of the counties that you can do a quick search of the FMR, the fair market rent. You can click that, or if you want, you can just type in HUD FMR on Google and it'll bring it right up. And what that does is it brings up your county and your state and your county, and then you can look and see what it is in your area or where your client is going to be housed. So it's really important to keep a log. So for each client that you do, or if you want to do like an agency-wide one, so you'll want to look at landlords and property managers, how much it is it within that FMR? Are there any utilities included? What utilities are included? What's the bedroom size? What is the address on the unit and the contact information? So when I served at Gateway House, we had just an agency one that we would call once or twice a month. And that way you can have it all set on there. So on one side, you could say, okay, this is the landlord, the property manager. And then on the other side, you could have all this information like the price, bedroom size, what utilities are included in contact information. And that way, if you are keeping up with that, either for each client or as an agency-wide like that, you can go and look and say, hey, this would be great for this client, or you already have that information. And then if you're doing it specifically for the client, you'll want to make sure that you're not repeating calls to the landlord, that you're getting all the information straight and that you have it organized. So where should you start? Definitely landlords that your agency has already had a relationship with, because they're going to be more willing to work with you. Also, you can look at newspapers, Zillow, Trulia, Facebook Marketplace, but I ask that you be really careful. I wouldn't ever use your personal account. If your agency has your service site has a Facebook that you could message from that on, and also just in general, be careful as there are a lot of scams. You can also call realtor agencies. So there's a lot of landlords now that are going through realtors where you would call the realtor and then the realtor would schedule showings like that. So you could start there. And then you could also go out in the field and do a field search. So drive around in that area, look at the place that they're actually wanting to be, understanding the area firsthand like that. So when you call a landlord to talk to them about getting a client into housing, into their unit, you want to talk to the landlord, adapt to them, but be really honest. I think that this is a great time to brag on your clients, especially with a lot of you who will be working with direct services and working one-on-one with them. I think that you bragging on them in the most honest way is just really beneficial to help, not sell them, I don't want it to sound like that, but really sell them. To say, okay, well, they've had employment for 6 months. I think that they'd really be able to sustain with your unit. They'll be able to pay it, after our assistance, or if there's no assistance at all, that they'll immediately have that money ready to pay. That they're really honest. Hey, Jenny would be really happy to answer those questions. She's always been honest with me, and she's always told me everything up front. Or if you're in a shelter, you see their environment. Oh, they really are clean. They really keep their bedroom kept. This is something that would be really good for a landlord, because that's what they're wanting to know. Is my unit going to be clean? Am I going to get paid? That's a great time to really look at the strengths of your client. But you can only offer what you know. So you can only answer if their bedroom's clean if you've seen it. You don't want to make those things up or say those things if they're not true. You're not a reference for the housing. You're just helping them along the search. It's okay to get a no from a landlord, and understand that you most likely will along your time finding housing for clients. And if they say no, it may have not been the right fit for them. It may have not been the right fit for the client. So don't let that get you down. Just understand, and you can reassure your client that their time will come, that the place will come, that you'll continue to look, and that they should too. You can also sell the programs to the landlord. If your agency that your service site's at, that you're doing a first month rent, you can tell the landlord, hey, you're guaranteed this, or hey, we are setting this person up with utility deposit assistance. You'll definitely get that. Or if they're in other types of programs, you can tell the landlord that to sell, hey, this would be a great fit for you. Utilities, you can negotiate on if they're included or not. If the unit is, $550 plus utilities, maybe say, how about we do within that one bedroom FMR $630 with everything included. And that way that you can say, you'll be guaranteed to get that money, and look at it like this. If there's a client that doesn't have, has a past arrearages and they're not able to put the utilities in their name, it's a win for them, and then a win for the landlord for those times that the utilities wouldn't go over that amount that if you add on that money to the rent. So after talking with the landlord and the landlord's ready to go through with it, you'll want to ask them, okay, is there an application process? What kinds of, can I be upfront about anything? Viewing, when can I see the place? When is it going to be an actual time that the client can get there and their transportation? So you want to take in consideration maybe their employment, a time that maybe you're able to view the unit also. And of course, definitely right now with COVID, photos and videos are really desirable and very easy for landlords to be able to send you via email, text, anything like that. Even right now, if I could recommend anything, it would be getting those photos or videos up front to show, instead of risking yourself going and looking in person. If you could look at it in photos before, making sure that that the client would like it before. So know that you can do this. There is a shortage of affordable housing everywhere, and that's why we need you to look. That's why we need you to use those great minds of yours to be able to think outside the box, looking in those weird places, or finding those housing, or having that negotiation skills that I'm sure that so many of you have, that you're able to talk to the landlord and sell that, and do your best to help advocate for your client. But you have to remember that it is not your choice. So you looking for these places and getting the information that allows you to say to the client, here's what I know, here's the unit, here's photos, what do you think? And also knowing what they want up front with their needs and barriers. So you have to offer and tell the client what the unit has for them. But if there's some people that have a lot of barriers, for instance, past evictions, or even the past utilities, you'll have to, I would really encourage you to be honest with them and say, hey, there may not be many options for you, and that's okay. To tell them, you have to be upfront, honest, and authentic with your clients, and let them know what their decision process can be like. If when you're looking for a place and your client is looking for a place and they feel like they've been discriminated against, I would definitely recommend you calling the Fair Housing Council. I'm about 100% sure that they're doing a presentation tomorrow. So that is going to be awesome. Definitely attend that. It'll give you a lot more information on that. But if there's any discrimination, definitely recommend them call or call with them. Do you all have any questions? Well, thank you so much. I know my presentation was very short. My last one was too, but I do encourage any questions if so.
Yeah, thanks everyone. If you guys have, like, if you want to reach out, sorry, Jenny, if you want to reach out to Jenny, if you're doing a housing search or if you have something that's maybe pretty specific to your client's needs or whatever the case may be, Jenny, all of HHCK staff information is on HHCK's website, so you can find her email there and reach out to her one-on-one if you would like.
Yes, thank you so much. I meant to put that in the slides and I forgot, but
No, you're fine.
And up front, seriously, if you have any questions about your service site, I know you can talk to Holly and Caitlin, but if you want to talk to me, feel free to call me, feel free to email me. I'll be happy to talk to you about anything that I can help you with. I would love to be able to help in any way.
Thanks, Jenny. Do you want to hand it back over?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes.
So I think that is all that we have for today. I'm going to hand it over to Caitlin. I see she's unmuted, so I'm going to let her talk.
You know me, I love to talk. No, all I was going to say is I hope that you all found this afternoon's session helpful and informative, and hopefully you took away at least one thing that, is new to you, or something that you can think about later, or, throughout the rest of this week and your year. So yeah, like Holly said, that's it. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time.
All right. Thanks, everyone.